We all know the classic Disney movie Mary Poppins. Julie Andrews won an Academy Award and was practically perfect in every way. Now Mary Poppins has taken the theatrical world by storm. It started in London's West End and is still running on Broadway. And now the national tour has landed at the Broward Center in Fort Lauderdale. Laird Mackintosh plays the father, George Banks, and he joins me on the phone to talk about his own experience in the theater and to tell us about the new interpretation of Mary Poppins. Laird, thanks for joining me on South Florida Arts Beat.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, I wanted to talk to you because Mary Poppins, you know, the first thing that comes to everybody's mind, of course, is the phenomenal blockbuster movie that has lasted for decades and generations. And so you've already sort of got people at the beginning, you know, you've got them at Mary Poppins. And what is special about the stage version, the Broadway show? Because I know from my research there was quite a bit of I guess, hesitation at the beginning to make it into a musical theater piece?
I heard that there might have been a bit of hesitation on the part of P.L. Travers, who was the woman who wrote the original stories, the books that were made by Disney into the film. But there certainly was no hesitation on the part of Cameron Mackintosh, the famous British producer, who was finally able to woo P.L. Travers and convince her that he was the right person to be entrusted with the rights to the books, you know, to be able to make the books into the musical, the stage play. And then it was a very interesting collaboration because, of course, Disney has the rights to the film, the famous film, and all of the music that's in the film. And so Cameron Mackintosh collaborated with Disney Theatricals. Thomas Schumacher is the head of Disney Theatricals, and they came together to create what I honestly think is a really, really good musical. And in fact, I'm sure it's the best show out there right now, and I can say that without hesitation. I came to the show as an audience member first, and with no connection to the show, as I mentioned, when I saw it in London, England, and was just bowled over by it. And I think it's just a very, when all the elements come together in a musical, it's a little bit hard to quite put your finger on what it is, but it certainly is a magical, moving show. Some people do have a connection with the movies from their childhood already, but, when children come to see the show and they're not familiar with the movies, they absolutely fall in love with it as well. And I think it's a kind of show, maybe like Phantom, at least I can relate it in some ways to that show, that really transports people through the combination of a kind of magical experience for the audience and music and mixture of songs that people are familiar with and love, but also new music that's very interesting for the audience to become familiar with, and just a very well-told story that is at the same time something that audiences are in some way familiar with, but this story has taken much more from the books, which viewers of the movie will not be as familiar with, and it's also taken elements from the movie. But I think the story is the things that have been changed make it's actually surprisingly relevant in our world today. My story that I kind of tell in the musical, because I play Mr. Banks, the father of the two children and husband to Winifred Banks in the show. My story is that I'm a banker who is facing an enormous financial crisis in his life, and also the kind of unraveling of my relationships in my family with my wife and my children. The home life is completely falling apart, and at the same time trying to keep up this facade of being a perfect Edwardian member of society. And I think there's a few things in there that people come to and are very surprised at how much it speaks to them today.
Yeah, so sounds like it could have been written today, right?
Yeah, it really could have. I mean, it's true. So we feel very confident about telling that story each night, and knowing that people come back and they speak to us after and tell us that it really struck a chord with them.
Yeah. Well, so the story is there. All the songs are there. Some new songs, some of the famous great old songs. And tell me, I'm hearing a rumor that Mary Poppins actually flies in the production.
She does. Yeah. There's some quite amazing stagecraft that the audience is witness to, and including her flying, of course, and flying out, across the stage and out over the audience, and it's and just to echo what you said a second ago about the familiar songs, I think definitely people who the show really has all the familiar music that people remember from the movies. It's all in there. It's kind of like the best of the books and the best of the movies. But yeah, there's a few moments in the show that I would say are truly jaw-dropping, and I won't say exactly what they are, but really magical. They're great examples of kind of the power of the theatrical experience. It's not something you can get from reading a book, and it's not something you can get from watching a movie. It's something that happens when the audience is there live watching the show as it happens, and something happens that seems to defy, what's the word, defy logic or the ability to, something doesn't seem possible happens right in front of their eyes.
And so that's the magic, definitely. That's definitely the magic. And, it's not to compare it to anything, but sometimes, Broadway, they take a movie, they slap it on stage. It doesn't always work. It's whatever. But you've painted a wonderful picture of a beloved story and movie of Mary Poppins, and you've painted a wonderful picture for us that this magical production is definitely something everybody, the whole family, is going to want to see. The young kids who maybe haven't seen the movie, maybe somebody who loves the movie, everybody's going to enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely. It's certainly not just for children, most definitely not. In fact, I would wholeheartedly recommend it to everyone, including men who might think it's a story for children. Don't be deceived. There's some fantastic high energy stomp like tap and dance numbers in the show, and it's definitely a show that I just honestly, we're very enthusiastic about it, and I have no problem just recommending it to anyone. I hope everybody will come to see it, because it really is quite a special show, I think, and I think it's actually not often that you see a touring production that has the kind of quality that this show has. I would be very surprised if anybody would walk away from it and not be glad that they came.
Excellent. Well,
but that's just
that's just your opinion being in the show.
I'm a little bit. I'm biased, but I can honestly say that when I saw the show myself in London, I have my life in the theater and see all sorts of shows, and I certainly don't feel that way about every show, but this one is special for sure.
Well, there's quite a buzz around here in South Florida because we are, again, a great big theater town. We love the Broadway shows that come through, and we keep our eye on what's going on in New York, so we know that this is special, and I know that a lot of people are coming out to see Mary Poppins. So I want to thank you, Laird Mackintosh, for being on with South Florida Arts Beat with me. It was such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you, Paul. My pleasure, and we're really glad to be here as well, and just love to see everybody come out at the show. Thank you very much.
Mary Poppins is at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts through June 27th. For more information, visit browardcenter.org. For an extended version of this interview, join me for my weekly online show at broadwayedition.org. For South Florida Arts Beat, I'm Paul Leary.